Today promises to be a very exciting day. We have amazing speakers joining us for today's session. And before we introduce them, I'm going to be introducing Mr. Tosin, who is going to be introducing our guests today. Over to you, Mr. Tosin.
Oh, thank you very much, Antonia. Good evening, everyone, from everywhere you are joining us for this AOT 5.0 LinkedIn Live conversation. And I have a wonderful guest on this platform. I'm so glad to have them here this evening. And I'm trusting the process that this is going to be a very, very engaging session for every one of us. I have some of my team, my colleague, everyone joining us for this session today. And so I'll just go very quickly by taking the introduction of our audience. And I'm so excited because I know that they are also excited to also be here with us this evening. And I'm going to be starting with Sholafumi. Sholafumi Sosonya, she's a very expert in content and digital space. She has a lot of experiences, and so I'll be reading a few of some of those things about her, and I hope that you all are excited to hear about Sholafumi this evening. She's a visionary media and tech entertainment leader with a proven track record in tech, TV, digital media, streaming platform, VOD, and media companies. Over the last few years, she has the following expertise in all of these areas I'll be mentioning. She has an expert in content as a content strategy personnel. She's also good at strategic partnership. She's good at brand strategy. She has a very, very strong, effective discipline around the digital strategy and data analytics. So it is so good that this evening we are having Sholafumi, who is not just an expert in the digital area, but also she's also an expert in the data analysis aspect. And I'm so sure that this evening she's coming with a lot of information, a lot of insight in this session. I should be going with us. I also have Ben who are with us. Ben is another expert that I have this evening. And one thing that is so exciting about this evening session is the fact that we have a gender balance, and we are so big on that. And AOT 5.0, this is one of those things that we are looking at. Ben Yua is the head brand and marketing communication at Vertebra Limited, and that is just the thing I'll be sharing about him. And I'm so excited that they are also excited to be on this call this evening. So Sholafumi, do you want to say hi to the audience? Ben Yua, do you want to say hi? Our audience want to see you, want to meet you. We do not take this opportunity for granted.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tosin, and thank you to the team as well. It's amazing being here. I'm super excited. I think we're going to get to have a really great conversation. I followed Ben as well for a while, so it's really good to be on the same platform with him. So I'm looking forward to a fantastic time sharing about, data and sharing about, digital world.
Yeah, Ben, Ben, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm going to follow Sholafumi's protocol. I think it's awesome being here. And I sincerely want to learn from her also, and share the little I know. So that'll be it.
All right. Thank you for that wonderful session. It's just a brief one. But one thing that stood out for me while you both are talking, when both of you were talking, was the fact that Sholafumi has been looking forward to meeting Ben, at least having the same platform, sharing the same platform. And it's something that Ben is also sharing. And let me just tell you, AOT, this is one big thing that AOT is always bringing every year. It is a platform where every expert, everybody have to come together. We have to dialogue. We have to create solution part. We have to think. We have to reason on what can we do better to get what we are looking forward to. And for this year theme for AOT 5.0, it is the creative economy and the digital Lagos. So we are looking at the thing, the creative economy and the digital Lagos. And for this evening, we have this topic to look at together. We have empowering startups and creative entrepreneurs for the digital Lagos era. So I'm so excited. And I'm so sure that Ben and Sholafumi are so excited to be on this platform. So very quickly, I just want to take a brief. I just want Ben to share. You just want to share an insight around this topic in just 60 seconds. You just want to say something about the topic, empowering startups and creative entrepreneurs for the digital Lagos era. So after that, Sholafumi is also going to share just a 60-second insight. Then we'll then go into the panel session. Thank you very much. Ben, you have the mic.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Ben Yoa, and I'm an enthusiast in this industry, and I think I've been able to, follow the ropes of what a lot of people have been doing. And I think what the Co-Innovation Center is doing is awesome. And I think what we can do is just to leverage and support and also endear ourselves to what are the new vistas to this industry, to what we are doing as a nation and what we are doing as a state. So be that as it may, I would say I'm looking forward to the contributions from my co-panelists here. And I'm also going to be sharing what I know, and there's going to be a lot to share from my end if I do have the time to. So that will be what I can say for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ben. I'm so looking forward to this panel session, and I know you are so excited about this session, just as I am. I am very, very excited. AOT is a very big platform. And for our audience that are joining all over the world, I know a lot of people are on this call, a lot of people are seeing us, a lot of people are viewing us. They can't wait to see what this conversation have to offer them today. So you can actually check the link that will be dropped on the chat box to see how you can register for this wonderful platform, this conference for this year. So Sholafumi, the floor is open to you. You want to share something in just 60 seconds, then we go into the panel session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to happily follow Ben's lead in here, which is that super excited about what you guys are doing. The Co-Innovation is really doing something nice. And I like that it's trend setting in such a way that, Lagos being one of the largest cities in Africa, we're a big hub for digital innovation and entrepreneurship. Just this morning, or this afternoon, actually, I was at a speaking session at the Africa Creative Market, again, here in Lagos. And just shows that the rise of, mobile internet usage, smartphones, great people who are, steadily growing their understanding of using the internet, their understanding of their smartphones and all is really helping us to grow, taking our local knowledge or our local products to the world. And it's great that Co-Innovation is positioning itself as that enabling body for this. So looking forward to a great conversation today.
All right. Thank you so much, Sholafumi. I am actually excited. You know why? Because AOT doesn't just happen. It's not that usual program you do have every time. It always comes up once in a year, and we have a lot of partnership. We have the Lagos state government. We have some other big organizations coming on board, just to share and to see what we are looking at. And so one thing I understand about the digital economy and the creative economy is the fact that it is looking like the right place where we have the huge money. Let me use that language, money, the capital is coming from that angle. And we are now left to see what we can do with it. What can we do with it? We can see what is happening. Even recently, we have one of the Nigerian artists on a platform during the Ballon d'Or presentation to Lionel Messi. So this is telling us that this sector, this creative economy sector, is something that if we properly harness, then there is a big something for us. It is going to offer something great for us. And so this evening, in the next 30 minutes, we'll be going through the panel session. And after that, we'll be taking questions from our audience all over the world. I'm so sure a lot of people want to ask questions after this panel session. And so my first question will be going to Ben. And I'm so sure that Ben is ready to actually take my question this evening. I want to share your insight. I want to share your opinion. I want to share your view, because we also understand that while we are driving the creative economy, there are a lot of things that the startups and the entrepreneurs can do. There are a lot of things that we can offer. In fact, for us to actually get to that place we are looking forward to, it was even projected that by 2025, the creative economy will be offering a massive job employment in Nigeria and even in Africa. So this is a prediction that we have to actually harness. We have to actually harness this to see what we can actually get from it. So Ben, to you, and this is the first question, and I want you to do justice to this question. I know that you have a lot of experience in the brand and marketing communications. And so this is my question to you. In your roles as head of brand and marketing communications, how do you see the role of branding and marketing strategies evolving in the digital era for startups and creative entrepreneurs in Lagos? So the questions we will drop on the chat. You can actually look at it. And this is me coming again to repeat it. In your role as head of brand and marketing communications, how do you see the role of branding and marketing strategies evolving in digital era for startups and creative entrepreneurs in Lagos? So the floor is open to you. Just want to share.
So I'm going to give you 3 points to talk about this particular question. Because as it is today in our ecosystem, there is a lot that is happening and there's a lot that is not happening. But then we'll look at what is happening first. What you see is happening is that we are not able to shift from where we used to be. For me, I call myself an agency boy because I started at the advertising agencies and I could see how the transition had been slow. Most agencies actually had failed to transition, especially when digital marketing came, and it swept them off. So when you now look at the economy of today, the big tech economy of today, not just in Nigeria, the world, you see that things are shifting places. Now, first, there is what we call AI marketing. And it may sound like a buzzword, but it's not. People are already using AI marketing in the industry today. Now, if I'm going to propose to the burgeoning tech ecosystem in Lagos, what are the latest brand and marketing strategies? AI marketing is one that I want to talk about. And when you look at the subset of AI marketing, you see that there's a plethora of what you can do in that area. There's virtually nothing you do in traditional marketing that you cannot translate in AI marketing today. Let's look at consumer insight or market research. There are actually AI products today that can help you to do that. In fact, if you check on platforms like Indeed and other foreign employing platforms, you start to see they're already employing AI marketers now. So it's a new transition. If you used to be a digital marketer, product marketer, you start looking at how can I play in AI marketing, because as it is, just as traditional advertising was swept partially away from the scene by digital marketing, that's the same way AI marketing will start to take the center stage very soon. So it will be wise for the entrepreneurs in Lagos, the creatives in Lagos to start to look at AI marketing. Secondly, there's what we call marketing in the metaverse. Now, we had experimented with this and it worked. There are solutions today where you can market in the metaverse. I'll give you an instance. I want to market a software, so we sell software is where I work. I want to market a software solution to a client in Japan. They speak Japanese there, or a client in China, they speak Mandarin. How do I speak to this person? Well, AI marketing in the metaverse allows you to do that now. All you need to do is to use the platform, use the holographic platform, and you appear. The last time I had a presentation with Eco Innovation, I actually displayed a video about marketing in the metaverse. And the language simulation happens real time. The person on the other side is hearing Japanese while here I'm speaking English. And I'm appearing in front of him in an holographic form. And we can market in that particular space without having to fly all the way to Japan, without having to start to think about translation. These are some of the things that we need to start looking at in our local space here in Lagos and in Nigeria. Then lastly, I want to talk about generative AI. Now, so generative AI is big in the sense that there's a time that you really need some kind of skills to do your work. But now with generative AI, you can write copy, you can create graphic design with just generative AI. There are so many platforms. Canva now has generative AI, FreePic has generative AI. With just text, you just tell, I want an image of Lagos at so and so, and it does the stuff for you and send it back to you. And they are improving on that. So that's why they say AI might come to take your job very soon, because if you're a graphic designer, generative AI is already taking it. If you're a content writer, generative AI has already taken your job. You get, so if you look at the context of brand and marketing, these are the new frontiers. So I'll rest my case here. Thank you.
Wow, This is so great. This is so great to hear, honestly. And one part of it that resonated with me while we were talking was the fact that I can be speaking English, and my audience, probably in Pakistan, probably in Japan, it's hearing, is understanding what I'm saying, and I don't have to go through stress. So this is a very great one to hear. Right. So back to Shola Fumi Sosanya. In your role as the former head of YouTube for East and West Africa at Google, what digital trends and opportunity do you see for startups, creative entrepreneurs in Lagos? And how can they leverage them for growth in the digital era?
Fantastic.
So
Thank you very much. No, I can get you. Thank you very much.
It seems to get a question already, so you can.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. Thank you very much for that question. Now, Lagos being, one of the largest cities in Africa, it's such a hub for digital innovation and entrepreneurship. So the rise of, the mobile internet, proliferation of smartphones, I was seeing a research and we found out that Nigeria is the second highest in the world in the growth in the use of smartphones. And so that, as well as the increasing availability of, more high-speed internet coming through, these are key trends that startups and creative entrepreneurs can leverage. Now, video content consumption specifically is skyrocketing in ways that we cannot even, explain. Platforms like, YouTube, TikTok, more circle that I'm in now is going to join this list, Instagram. They are becoming the primary sources of entertainment, of information, and all of this. And entrepreneurs must tap into this trend. I'm going to give you 4 quick ways how entrepreneurs must tap into this. First one is you need to start to create localized content that resonates with Lagos audience. If this is your bread and butter, if Lagos is the place where you want to thrive, where you want to make money, where you want to grow your business, or just where you want to live and do your thing, then you need to start creating content that resonates with this market. And we sometimes underestimate the value of the depth of information and knowledge we have about Lagos or about wherever we are in the world. That's one. Number 2, you need to be leveraging very hard on mobile first strategies to reach consumers who are primarily, primarily have access to internet, with smartphones. Every single Tom, Dick, and Mara now, at least 80% of people who are literate, who've gone to school or co, have smartphones. So because of that, whatever it is that you want, or wherever it is that you want to reach, most likely 8 out of 10 of them would have a smartphone or some version. So you need to leverage those mobile first strategies. I mean, Ben was talking about how they've started using the metaverse, how they've started using AI and all of those. You need to start to really leverage on those mobile first strategies. Number 3, you need to utilize a lot of data analytics, to understand your audience preferences and tailor content accordingly. Previously in my life on TV, I remember that when we started to develop content, when I was with MTV Base and Paramount, we would create content for TV, but then we'll create another version of that content, a 1-minute version for Instagram. We'll create a 30-second version for Twitter. We'll create a 1-minute version for TikTok. We'll create a 10-minute version for YouTube. You need to start to use data to understand how people want to tailor how they want to consume their own content. You need to understand the Gen Zs might be much more, have less attention span than a millennial or a boomer. So you need to understand and tailor content in that way. And the 4th thing for me, which is also very quite important, is you need to start to explore those technologies like AR, VR. You need to start to explore them and to create immersive experiences. Time have gone where, you're focusing on just, people that are here with you and co. The world has really become our oyster. It's now a permissionless world where everywhere you can tap into audiences, you can make money from anywhere in the world with people, like you said, that don't speak your language and co. And the more that you start to really innovate and to really embrace these new technologies that we're in, this new world, the more you become relevant. I mean, I was reading something very recently where Elon Musk said, if you are not careful, AI will replace everything. So the more that you start to sit down and take AI and embrace it the way that Google and all of these companies were embraced when they came up with search and I mean, who knew in those days that you could sit down and search anything? You need to embrace AI in the same way, in the same format for every single thing you're doing. Schooling, teaching, whatever it is. So those are 4 great points that I think every startup or every business owner has to put or have in their arsenal in this day and age.
All right, thank you for that wonderful share. And one thing I picked from what you have said is the fact that we must understand that while we are trying to solve a lot of problems, we must come from the bottom to top approach. That is understanding our audience, understanding where we are, and actually localizing all of our solutions. That's a very brilliant one, I must say, and I'm so sure that the audience can actually flow. So to you, Ben, I want to ask you this question again. Can you share examples of successful strategies or initiatives the organization or others have employed to address funding challenges faced by startups and creative entrepreneurs in Lagos? So because I know that funding is one thing that everybody, in a lot of people, even some persons who don't even have this initiative yet, they are going to share. Thank you, Ben.
Okay, thank you for that. Quickly, I work with Vertebra Limited, and sometime in 2018, we started to create the Vertebra Technology Hub in partnership with the Bank of Industry. And what we did with that initiative was that we created the ambience for startups to thrive. At the time we came up with the Vertebra Tech Hub, people were finding it difficult to transit from Ajah to Lekki or Victoria Island, where most of the technology hubs were at the time. But this was the first hub that opened up at Ajah. And it was filled up with startups upon startups upon startup. We started to incubate. So what we had done, and it was at a very, very minimal cost to most of these startups. And I kid you not, that platform has bettered a lot of other businesses and startups in Nigeria today. And if you, from your end at a co-innovation center, we've had some partnerships, we had some participated in some events. I think even earlier this year, one of our incubated startups actually won one of the prizes at your facility. So with partnership with BOI, we created that platform that's incubated and also helped them to sustain their businesses at a very low cost. Then we had also provided access to fund. How did we provide this access? Same BOI. BOI, as we know, a Bank of Industry, they provide funding. But a lot of people don't know how to approach the BOI. They don't know what to do. They don't know the documentation. They don't know who to meet. So we had a direct desk in-house to attend to those incubators who need funding. Those mostly agro ideas. We didn't just stop in Lagos. We opened the Bayelsa Tech Hub, which is one of the most thriving hubs in the south of Nigeria today. We opened the Kebbi Innovation Center. We also opened, in partnership with the Bank of Industry, we also did the same thing in Kaduna. So, and in Lagos also, we had another partnership with ICANN to open the ICANN BOI hub in Yaba. So putting all this in perspective, you see that we have been able to support startups and incubators in Nigeria to be able to grow. And lastly, I want to talk about most of the startups. There was a time I took a program with Harvard, and then I learned some things there. I realized that those who create ideas cannot manage them. Now, let me explain that. Entrepreneurs don't know how to manage businesses. If you had studied very well, if an entrepreneur is an ideator, he knows how to think about the idea. But the day-to-day running of the business, he doesn't know how to do it. That's why I say when an entrepreneur creates an idea and is burgeoning, if he doesn't step aside, he's going to run down that business because he will be too emotional about it. Many times entrepreneurs believe that because I've thought about this thing, I can actually run it. But it's not always that way. God has just given them the gift to be able to think these things out, but they don't have the capacity. The people who can manage are managers. So in this space, we've now realized that a lot of these creators don't know what to do. So we now created a system that helps them to support and create documentations, both for local incubation and for international funds, where they can, like the Y Combinator and all that. So we're able to also create this kind of system for them to be able to access funding. So this much I can say about what we've been able to do with funding in the industry. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Ben. That's a very, very great one. And I'm so impressed hearing from you. So very quickly, I just want to ask Sholafumi this question. So Sholafumi, as a strategy and production expert with expert and experience, what advice do you have for creative entrepreneurs seeking to navigate the challenges of securing funding for their projects or businesses in Lagos, and how can they attract potential investors?
This is the question that all of us are always asking. How can I make more money? Or how can I get money to fund my business? I think I'm going to say 5 short ways of things that I feel like we should do as someone who is, looking to find funding. First thing is understand that money is all around. Money is around everywhere we look. And again, because the world is now permissionless, it doesn't even have to be in the location that you're in. There is money around you. The first thing you want to have is have a very clear, compelling business plan that outlines the market, the market opportunity, the business model, the path to profitability. If I'm removing 1 dime from my pocket for you, best believe that you have to convince me that this is a great enough. I should see the value, and I should understand that there are people who will want to pay for that solution. If you can answer those 3 questions, it's very easy for people to open their pockets or their wallets for money to come out of it. And to add to that, you also have to have a business that's scalable. So if I see that your market is too niche, that it's not going to be scalable in such a way that your solution can't go to, lots more people and is confined to one space, then I might not be interested. But I can tell you, for most people who have money in their pockets, if you can provide these 3 or 4 clear things with your idea, then you start talking about money. Yeah. Most of the time, our people or our entrepreneurs, do not want to do all of this hard work in the beginning. The second thing is you want to build a strong online presence. You want to leverage digital platforms to showcase your work. I can count 10, 20 different innovators or different people who started out their whatever business ideas they have, and they got funding just because people saw them on digital spaces, just because people followed them on YouTube, on Instagram or something, just because they showcased it somewhere and people are reaching out. And this cuts across, not even only like proper businesses or but, creative entrepreneurs, the singers, the dancers and people are sponsoring or getting into, or, creating even scholarships and all of those things for them based on the fact that they saw them on Instagram. So Instagram, all these digital social media platforms should not be seen just as places, to put pictures and floss, and show big life and It's more around how are you showcasing your work to a limitless world, to billions of people around the world who are there on those platforms every day, and how can you leverage that to get the funding that you're looking for. Networking extensively and participating in startup event pitches, this sort of conversations that we are having. If you're really looking for funds and Ben mentioned all of the stuff they've done with Bank of Industry. Why are you not in a room like this, in a forum like this, to understand some of these opportunities and start seeking where to look for? So you need to network extensively. This is somewhere that even I fell short, to really leverage the extensive network that I have. And I'm really just building on that again for myself. So if I'm 15 years in my industry, and I'm still working on extending and leveraging and sweating my networks, there is no reason why you're not knocking doors. You're not, going to events and meeting people, going to creative, startup discussion, job fairs, startup fairs, hackathons, all of these places, and not just going there and, putting on a hat and staying somewhere. Leverage, talk to people, meet them, ask the problems they're solving, tell them what you're solving. You never know. They always say that you are 6 people away from, whatever you're looking for. You never know who knows who knows that, who knows this, that can link you to that person. Another thing is consider alternative funding, crowdfunding. I have been, an angel investor for the last couple of years, venture capital. There's so many people, there's so many platforms now where you just need to drop your idea. If it's compelling enough, people will crowdfund you. And they will own a part of tiny piece of the business. And then they can do that. The fifth one for me that is very important: demonstrate a track record of success, demonstrate a track record of honesty in even the smallest projects. Most people do not have a good track record. They haven't built any credibility, and people invest usually not in the business, but in you, the person, the owner of that business. That's most likely what they're doing. Everybody can have a great idea, but who has the balls to bring it to fruition? So when venture capitalists or angel investors or people drop money to invest in your business, is maybe because something in you have convinced them. And usually it's very much easier to understand or to open a wallet when you've seen a track record of, even if it's smaller things of success. That's why you see people who most likely worked in this company or something and they did well, and then they open a business and they start pitching, and people who have heard about the work they've done in that work or something, now it's easier for them to make those decisions to invest with them or to invest in their businesses. So this 5 points, I think, is super key for anyone who is looking to source, funding for their business. Look at alternative solution, build your network, consider, being an honest, just a flat out honest person and cool. So those are the simple ways you can start to look at to grow and to find funding for your business. Like I said, money is everywhere around. That funding is everywhere around us now. It's a permissionless world. You use your digital, not only, to be twerking and all of those things, but really around how can I showcase my business in that way that people would really see it, the right people will see it. You're smiling, that the right people will see it. Say yes. I think Tosin is off.
Then,
there he is.
all right, so that's a very great one to hear from you, Shola, for me. And it's so nice having you and Ben here today. And so from all you have just shared now, this is one thing that has resonated with me. It therefore means that for startups and entrepreneurs, there is a need for every one of us to be so intentional and strategic about our movement. This is the only way that we can actually maximize all of the opportunities that life has to offer us. So for those who are not intentional, then I don't think, for somebody who is not intentional, I don't think such person will be in a training, will be in a markup, will be in, So there is a need for people to be intentional. And so with this, I want my co-moderator, Antonia, because I love the space today because there is gender balance and I wouldn't want to be biased. So Antonia will be going next to ask Ben is the next question. Thank you, Antonia.
Amazing. Thank you, Tosin, for throwing the ball back to my court. It's been amazing, very insightful. I've been listening. It's been a lot. I have my notepad here. I've been trying to jot down everything that has been said. Shola spoke about how entrepreneurs have to be intentional and how we need to put in the work. So it's not just about wishing upon a tree. You have to be willing to put in the work. She spoke about leveraging network. You have to network yourself. You can't be in your room and then hope manna falls from heaven and all that. And earlier on, Ben also made a reference to something similar. He spoke about how entrepreneurs can't run their businesses alone. And I'm going to throw in a question to Ben now. Ben, as an expert in the creative economy, what do you believe are the most critical components of the support ecosystem that needs strengthening to facilitate growth and innovation in the creative economy?
Okay, I'll just pick it up from where Shola stopped. Our last point was very striking for me. When she spoke about the integrity of the people involved in this ecosystem. So when you look at the areas of blockchain, you see that there's a lot of integrity missing there, and there's a lot of potential in blockchain. And today I was on TikTok and I was seeing a video of how one of the most promising blockchain vis-a-vis cryptocurrency platform, they even sponsored an edition of the Big Brother Naija, has gone aground. So those are some of the things that we are looking at. People who had lost money went there and they made a video. Like, so you think about it critically. Who wants to invest in that industry in Nigeria? Even the government, there are countries that are beginning to adapt that industry gradually. But when you start to see the things, even in the US, I was seeing CNN, was it last week? They interviewed is it Ben Shak? I'm trying to remember his name. He leveraged on blockchain, but he had no knowledge of it, and he made a lot of fuss, a lot of noise, and a lot of money. But in a short period of time, he went down. So I think that as my first point. Then the next point would be marketing. There seems to be a very big knowledge gap in the marketing area of the support ecosystem. Like I said earlier in my previous point when I spoke about being an entrepreneur and a marketer. So the problem with the same ecosystem is that those who innovate don't know where to draw the line. I'll refer back to, I did a course, I will refer back to that course again. It's called Lab to Market. So the idea of lab to market is just to see how you can cook this thing in the lab and take it to the market. And how do you go about that? You need to carry out some levels of research. And now you're carrying out research not on the basis of what you know. Now everybody sits in the boardroom, they shake each other. Oh, we thought of this idea, this lovely idea, awesome. They shake, they say, yeah, let's take it to the market. This typically has been the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of the guys in the ecosystem. Rather, it should have been the other way around. Go to the market and get the need of the market. Then come back to the lab and cook the product. But what you get is that they sit in the lab, cook the product, shake each other, agree that, oh, this is a lovely product, and they take it to the market. So that way the market rebounds and say, no, we don't want this product. And it looks like it was a failed idea. But if they have gone the other way around, and it speaks about solving problems, essentially. So there is a knowledge gap in the areas of marketing for the ecosystem, which I think is critical. And also studying the trends. When the first question I was asked, I spoke about, is it the first or second? I spoke about some of the trends that we have today. I spoke about marketing in the metaverse. So these are trends that some of the business, these new guys in the ecosystem don't know about yet. They don't even think, they don't even fathom it yet. So marketing is key to this ecosystem. Second is funding. As much as you have an idea, there's this what they say in music, that if you do a great song and you don't have a way to push it, they say the song is as good as just Drive C record. Like the record label is now Drive C, meaning Drive C means the drive you have in your computer. That's where the song lives, that's where it dies, that's where nobody listens to it. So that's how funding is critical to a lot of the ecosystem with regards to creating ideas and innovating them and taking them out to the market. So if you don't have the funding, you realize that your idea is just. I was at one of the sessions last year at Eco Innovation Center. Was it last year or early this year? And I saw how some of these young guys came to fight for the money, and they know it was very critical. They came to really fight for the money. I think it was about $10,000, and that is part of the problem. If this funding is not available, and those guys displayed amazing ideas, things I've not even heard or seen before. They displayed, but we were just there, and they didn't have the money. There was no funding. So this is where regulation also comes in. So my last point is government, regulation and deregulation role of government. Now there's the area of regulation of government, and there's the area of deregulation of government. Now government should not be seen as wanting to regulate everything around tech. It is bad for tech. That is the reason why you see America leads and others follow. America has a free and egalitarian society that allows tech to trend, to thrive. Now, what you see Russia and China is doing is that they're just following, they're just trying to lap around, steal the idea. If you go to Russia today, they don't have Facebook. They have a duplicate of Facebook. They don't use WhatsApp. They have, what's this other app that is Russian? Telegram. So, and they're just trying to duplicate what America has done. And that's why you just keep following America, just keep trying to follow, but you never get, because the society is free. And if you talk about the leaders of the free world today, it is the United States. The wars you have around the world, America is fighting for a free world. Don't gag people, don't gag women, allow people to speak free, allow people to, so that is why you see their industry and their tech is burgeoning. So in the area of regulation for government, I'm an advocate for data regulation. Government needs to regulate data. What kind of data are you putting out there? I have a lot of stuff on the cloud. Is it safe? What are the parameters that the NCC are putting out there to ensure that everybody's data is safe? Our banking data, like financial data, our biometric data, all these things need to be safe, because if the bad guys get hold of this data, they use them in a very bad way. And then the areas that need to be deregulated is the creative area. Everything that has to do with creativity, concepts, all the paraphernalias of technology should be allowed to flow. But what we have seen recently is that government, some people political wise are trying to create a situation whereby government. I was on Twitter, like it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and
amazing. Mr. Ben, you have so much inside of you, and you're giving us a lot.
Okay, yeah,
I think we should slow down the pace. Yes, we do have to work within a time frame.
Okay.
And thank you so much for all the insights you've given us. You spoke so much about, you reiterated the importance of integrity. You also spoke about marketing. You spoke about need for liberality in policy making. And I'll also quickly, I would like to ask Shola Fumi some questions. Earlier on, like Ben said, you spoke about integrity, how it's important for startup and entrepreneurs to build a portfolio of integrity, because people are actually buying into you as an individual. People want to be able to know that they can trust you with their funds. They can trust that whatever you're producing, your services or your products are genuine and void of fraud. I'm going to be asking a question. Earlier on, before we asked Ben the question, you spoke about networking, and Ben also gave a little bit insight about networking. So I'm going to be asking you a question. You've had a remarkable career in both the content and partnership, and how I would like to ask you, how can startups and creative entrepreneurs form strategic partnership? You spoke so much about networking. How can they form strategic partnership to expand their reach and impact within the dynamic creative economy of Lagos? And what are the key considerations that they should keep in mind as they do so?
Fantastic, thank you. I mean, startups and creative entrepreneurs, they need to use partnerships as much as possible. It's one of the easiest ways that even big corporations, the Googles and the Apples and the Netflixes of this world, understand the power of partnerships. They have whole business departments or orgs that are just around partnerships. That shows you how serious they are with partnerships. So startups, creative entrepreneurs, the first thing you want to do is you want to identify potential partners that align with your brand values and your audience. Who are those partners that you want to associate with? I mean, even for normal individuals, you want to look at people, even it's as simple as your LinkedIn. Who are the people that you want to when someone clicks your LinkedIn, they want to see who is this person, who are those people that they're following, or who are the sort of caliber of people they're surrounded with. It can be as little and as minuscule as that. So you want to find potential partners, that align with your own views, that align with your values, with your audience, and you want to be very, very direct and intentional in building partnerships with them. Look for partnership opportunities that have, mutual benefit. Look for people else who are wanting to grow and you want to grow with. I find that even for creators and co, when you want to grow or something, you're looking for collaborations and you have 200 followers, then you go to the person who has 2 million followers and ask them that you want to collaborate. What's in it for them? Everything is in it for you, but what's in it for them if you have 200 followers? So even though it's a permissionless world, why don't you look for someone who has 200 followers like yourself and start to collaborate together? Then you start to sort of piggyback off the knowledge and the understanding of that person. So sometimes it's finding those sort of partners where you can offer some mutual benefits to. Be very clear about what each party is bringing to the table and what the expected outcomes are. Make sure that you set those priorities and everybody's clear that, oh, I'm coming in, I want to bring this, you're coming in, you're bringing that. If you have to draft, agreements or anything, make it very clear, very intentional in the beginning. And I think one of the most important things when you form partnerships is something that we all know, we just don't do it as effectively as we can. It is to maintain a very open communication. That fosters a lot of long-term relationships. If I know that you're just going to reach me because you need me for something, then you're not someone I want to have partnership. That's a transactional partnership. And most people don't have time or want to build that sort of partnership. Let it be something that fosters, long-term relationship with them. I think these are key points that's going to help any startup, any creative person in the industry. You want to be very clear about, the people who meet the brand and the values and the code that you are looking for. People, you look for opportunities where you guys have mutual benefits. You're very clear from the beginning that this is what I'm trying to build. What are you trying to build? Be interested in their own life and their own work and what they're doing as well. If you have to draft agreements, if they are written stuff, please do make sure you do it. And very, very importantly, be very open with conversations. You want to foster long-term conversations, not just a very transactional, symbiotic or parasitic relationship. We see quite a lot of that these days. You want to avoid it as much as possible. So yeah, those are my clear do's for when you build partnerships.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your insights. You spoke about establishing mutual beneficial partnership, and then you also spoke about setting clear objectives in your partnership. Before I hand over to my co-moderator, I would also like to ask Ben one last question before I hand over to Mr. Tosin. And I think you already started answering this question already. Mr. Ben, what are the emerging trends and technologies that startups and creative entrepreneurs in Lagos should embrace to remain competitive in the ever-evolving digital ecosystem, and how can they stay ahead of the curve? You gave us an example of the US, and you also gave us an example of Russia. So I'll just give the floor over to you.
Okay, thank you. So quickly, I'll talk about three emerging trends that we can start to look at in our climb here. One is super apps. So we realize that this day we have a lot of applications on our phones now, and so many of them repetitive, some of them multiple activities that they want to help us do. But then with the emerging nature of super apps now, you just need one app to do a lot of things. So startups in Nigeria can start to look at creating super apps. It could be in the financial sector. Well, one app can do a lot of things for you. It could be in the health sector. It could be in the environment. It could be, in different areas of our daily life. We can start to create super apps. So we don't need to download a number of apps to function well. That we have just maybe one or two. Then metaverse startups. As we are today, what we are seeing today is just the regular kind of startups, fintech startups, agro startup, tech, health startups. There seem to be a new vista in the metaverse startups. Now, startups are beginning to spring up, and their main business model is to create solutions for the metaverse. I gave an instance earlier about marketing the metaverse. That is one area people are already. There could also be health in the metaverse, where I can actually carry out proper consultation using the metaverse, because in that area of in the area of medicine they call clinical diagnosis, and there's another area they call laboratory diagnosis. And when you are doing clinical diagnosis, you can actually do it in the metaverse. And then lastly, I want to talk about electric mobility startups. Now, so what we see is that Nigeria is just trying to grapple with creating the same old kind of fossil cars and fossil mobility vehicles. But we're already having electric mobility startups coming up. I'll give an example of one. There's a very burgeoning one in India called Ata. When they started, they were getting just about 30 to 50 daily orders for electric scooters. But today, they are getting about 15,000 to 20,000 orders on a daily. In fact, they are expanding and expanding and expanding. Who wants to be driving it? Who wants to be driving a fossil scooter when I can just easily get a nice one that can charge, go out and they use it, come back? This day we realize that we're already using a lot of things that we don't need fossil for anymore. Just charge them and we'll use them. So I'll end it at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben. I'm so impressed by this session today. It's an high opening for every one of us, even for myself on this platform. And just like you mentioned earlier, all of us have to come together to maximize every opportunities that we have at our disposal. And so because we have limited time, I would have loved that we continue this session because I'm just so impressed. I'm so impressed because we are in the season of AOT already. And, prior to this even wonderful conference, we have been listening, you have been sharing a lot of ideas, a lot of input, a lot of insight in your area of best practice. And so before we go and before we take the audience question, I would love to ask Shola for me this question. And so we will stop the panel session where we take the questions from the audience. So Shola for me, this is the question for you. With your extensive experience, how do you see the role of digital skills and education in empowering aspiring entrepreneurs and young talents in Lagos? One, what educational initiatives do you believe are essential for preparing the next generation of creative entrepreneurs for success in the digital economy? So that's the question for you. So we can have a close to this panel session, then we take questions from the audience. Thank you, Shola.
Thank you very much. Look, at the end of the day, digital skills will continue to be fundamental to the success of entrepreneurs. We're in that, next gen digital economy. So you definitely need those digital skills. And to empower young people, young talent, a lot are very important. We need to incorporate digital literacy and entrepreneurship into the curriculum of education. I mean, lots of schools now are offering robotics, things like programming, all of those things, which is fantastic. But we need to do more. How can we take it to the next level? How can a child who is graduating from high school or primary school in Nigeria be likened, or in Lagos, be likened to the child who is graduating from a school in London or a school in Adelaide or something? We will need to incorporate as much digital literacy into schools as much as possible. I remember my son, being at work and my son sending me an email of something that happened. And I was telling a colleague, and he was very surprised that my 8-year-old at that time was able to send an email. And I said, look, they've sort of incorporated it into their work as much as possible. So very important. The grassroots is where we can lose things. And the more that our children and the new ones know more about it, it's very, very, very good for us and the next generation. And so that we're not left behind in the way that things are moving, or our young ones are not left behind by doing archaic sort of trainings when things have become much more digitalized. You want to partner with tech companies as much as possible to provide a lot of training and internships. I know that companies like Google, companies like Meta, all of those are doing this, but there should be more, and there should be more that is even pushed from a higher level. I know that the government of Kenya is doing the same, trying to drag some of these companies more into their and providing great hubs that they can really grow as much as possible their people, to get them understand. You want to facilitate access to learning platforms as much as possible. There's a lot of free courses, digital marketing, business of film, so many things, data analytics. There's so much free courses available, and it's just letting our people know and pushing them and giving them the urge to get some of it. And then also supporting of incubators, accelerator programs, all of those things, just providing a nurturing environment, for startups is so important for their growth. And, to conclude, is really just around the digital landscape will continue to provide vast opportunities. And by the time we understand, we leverage these trends as much as possible, securing funding, telling compelling stories, doing lots of, strong business stuff. It just will continue to help, businesses, help the new ones, the young people coming in, help them to really thrive by investing in their digital skills, and their education.
All right. Thank you so much, Sholafumi. And thank you, Ben. Honestly, I would have loved that we just continue this conversation. You know, it's very, very engaging and very, very interesting. So for all our audience, while I know that a lot of persons we have their questions to ask, but I'm sorry to say we are just, you know, it's just 6 o'clock already, and just to manage everybody's time, we are so big on time management, and we want everybody to go back to their schedules for the day. And so we'll be wrapping up this session today. But then, before we go, I want to say thank you to Sholafumi and thank you to Ben. It's so wonderful having both of you on this platform today. For all our viewers all over the world, be so sure that we'll be having another conversation of this next week, now with another topic that I'll be looking forward to. And I'm so sure that everybody will be so excited to see what next week holds. And so this session will hold just like that until we have the AOT program on December 7th and 8th. And so it is advisable that everybody register. So if you are being online, you can actually register. The link has been dropped through the chat box, so you can register just to participate in this program. Thank you very much. And to me, I am Oluwatosin Olukobi. I'm the Programs and Learning Manager for Eco Innovation Center. It's so nice to have everybody this evening. Goodbye. Thank you, Anthony, and thank you, all our audience.
Thank you, Tosin. Thank you, Shola. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.